Hello everyone, welcome to this brand new podcast. It's one of the rare live streams which I do on the channel and one of the first ones with Ashmita. I think the last time I did such kind of a live stream was during Churuli, if I'm not wrong. So uh, it was only fitting that we did something like this for a movie like Hridayam, which is having so much of critical acclaim, and even the audiences are loving it. So I had actually missed it while it was in theaters, and Ashmita went to watch it in theaters, if I'm not wrong, when you were in Bombay. And
Yes,
now I think, and the timing was so good that until last Thursday it was still in theaters, and I was still making plans to go, and I was just lazing around, and then Friday I check it, it's gone from theaters, but it's there on Hotstar. So I said, okay, now I have to watch it, and I mean, I really, you had told me off the record that this is a movie that's meant to be seen in theaters because of a lot of different things adding up to that theatrical experience.
right.
So I really regret for not going to theaters. But even though I saw it on Hotstar, it was still enjoyable. So Ashmita, thank you for joining. And I know I saw your review, and I could see the wide grin you had throughout the review because of how much you connected with the film and the characters. So, I mean, what was that one thing about the film that really uh, kept you connected throughout? Because it's a long film, so it's
Right.
not easy to be that much connected throughout that journey. So, what was it? The nostalgia or something else?
I think it was a combination of things, I would say. Firstly, definitely the first half, if you see, it's it was pure nostalgia for me because of that hostel campus life and how 4 years go and the ups and downs. You gain friends, you lose friends, and everything. So a lot of it was extremely relatable because I also went through a similar thing, leaving my own house and going to a different state for my engineering, then spending time with your roommates, and then that's a whole another like universe in itself. And you feel that okay, this is it. As you become seniors in college, you feel like yeah, you're the boss and you own the world. And before you are about to pass out, you just have all this energy and all this motivation because you don't know when the reality outside, because life hits you hard after you pass out from college. So so definitely first was nostalgia. Second is that I think I was myself subconsciously craving for a really nice romantic film. Even though it's not really romantic, to be honest, it's like a coming of age film because it's Arun's story, but the essence is romance of that film. So when I did the trailer reaction, so I think when the trailer dropped, the next day only the film released. They did the promotions like that. So I did the trailer reaction, and then it said releasing on 21st. I said okay, it's like tomorrow. And I was in Kolkata that time. And after the trailer, I said that I really, really want this to be a really good film because I am craving for a nice romantic drama. Uh, because I don't know, for some reason, people have forgotten this genre. Like, romance is a subplot, but most of the time, I don't see it becoming the main plot of the film, where it's all about romance and nothing else. So that's second thing. I think that was something which I personally wanted. Third is definitely the music that completely kept me hooked. And that's why I specifically told you that this is a film that was meant for the theaters, because that magic of the music, which takes forward the narrative of this film, it's something to really, really marvel at, because it's almost like a 3 hour film. And to kept the audiences hooked for those 3 hours. I never felt that the music addition of the music was just dragging the movie, and it could have been cut or something like that. I don't know, because after the film got the OTT release, I've still not watched it. So I cannot really do a comparison that how I felt watching it on the smaller screen, because I honestly want to watch it with my husband, because Uh, the day I watched the film, I messaged him after the movie got over. He was in office, and I messaged him, "Oh, you have to watch this film when once it releases in OTT because you won't have the time to watch it because there are no night shows or evening shows running in Mumbai." So I want to watch it with him, and I want to spoil it for him. So I want to see his reaction, how he feels while watching it in OTT. Let's see if the experience is different because, like off the record, you told me your experience was a little bit different. So that was interesting for me because for I just loved the theater experience completely. So yeah, combination of music, nostalgia, and my own craving for romantic drama. So I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
So when you say craving for a good, intense, passionate sort of romantic film, so do you include every Indian film industry and Hollywood, or just Indian film industry?
Yeah, Indian film industry, and also like Hollywood, you can say Hollywood also, because I think I've been getting a dose of superhero films one after the other, and I think I'm a little bit over the teenage rom-com that's so prevalent. I still enjoy them. To be honest, I wouldn't say that, oh, now when I watch it I feel cringe, because that is something I used to watch a lot. You know, the rom-com films. In When I was in college. So I'm a fan of all those classic rom-com Hollywood films. I still rewatch them so many times. You know, you've got Mail and all of those things, Serendipity, you know, just to name a few. So yes, so I think I talk it in wholesome, whatever industry you say. That's why I think I've really been attracted to K dramas right now because they're so full of romance. Uh, the mushy kind, the Bollywood kind. Uh, DDLJ is a movie that I still revisit. I have lost count of how many times I've watched that film. So yeah, I think the hardcore romance film is something I was craving for sure.
Yeah, and one of our favorites, Imtiaz Ali, has also stopped making his trademark sort of films
Yeah.
in the past. So I can understand where you're coming from. Uh, Now going back to the film, okay, a lot of people are saying hi Ashmita. Let's get their comments also. So Adarsh Krishna says hi Ashmita. Saraj says
Hello.
Rochelle says hi, and
Hi,
now
Kaushal. Hi, Nitish. Hello.
Anuj says hi. So I'm guessing all these people are coming from your channel.
Hi,
Uh,
guys.
and even Nibras Roshan says, "Let's go." So, going into the movie now a little bit, as you said, the romance was still not the main plot, right? The film revolved around a guy who, from his college going days to becoming a father. So it's a journey of from sort of teenager to manhood, if you want to put it like that. So. But still, did you feel that somewhere in parts the romantic angle was kind of overtaking the bigger picture?
Mm, I don't think so because I feel Arun as the protagonist. What I think that the part of Arun which was really shown is that how the female, counterparts that he encounters, be it Darshana or Maya or Nitya, changes him as a person. So, and the all the three romances, if you see the romance with Darshana, which is so intense and passionate, and then coming to Maya, which was more like a rebound, but he also learns from that relationship, and then coming to Nitya. So the romance in all the three phases are so different, and every time I could see that okay, he's growing in a certain sense with this. Of course, friendship is also an integral part of the storyline, which is a parallel running subplot, how the friends change his perspective or how they drag him down. So that's also a part, but I did not really feel that it was overwhelming at any point, honestly speaking. It just felt very breezy to me. Uh, for me, when I was watching the film, I was really not critically thinking because I was so into the characters. I was so invested in Arun's life that all my logical thinking that okay, it could have been done this way or that way, it just it just vanished, and that's what I think is a mark of a really good engaging edit of a film or a good engaging film where you really forget about these little technicalities where something might be a little off, but you don't really notice it or don't want to notice it because you are loving the viewing experience so much. So for me, it was not really that overwhelming. For you?
Uh, for me, like, talking of the three love stories, so definitely the one with Darshana had the most depth, if you look at it in that sense. The other two, I mean, the good thing is he ends up with Nitya by the
Right.
end. So I
Right.
was kind of thinking, okay, let's hope they don't go the Bollywood way, and he doesn't because he's already like a father of Nitya's child, and then thankfully it goes the Malayalam way, the unpredictable sort of way, but. There were a couple of places like which I kind of couldn't relate to. So for example, one fine day when he suddenly decides that he can't take all this nonsense, his friends using him and all the mess that the room is in. So that
Hmm.
transformation for me was like very sudden and very quick. I mean, there had to be a build towards it, right? So you can't see people who quit smoking. It doesn't happen overnight. There has to be some gradual process towards it. So for
Hmm.
me, that transformation in him, that was a little too quick. And the other complaint which I had, of course, was the length, which
Okay.
we also had with Hridayam. So these are a couple of things because the length is such that I was so sure a couple of scenes or a couple of plot lines could have easily been avoided.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
when, for example, the first one that comes to my mind is in the second half when that guy who's a womanizer, he comes back into his life after so many years. So I mean,
Right.
those could have been avoided, right? So
Okay.
what did you think of it? The transformation? Did you also think it was kind of a sudden change?
I think for me, you can say that, yeah, in a way, if I think very analytically, yeah. I mean, just to push the narrative forward, you might feel that, okay, logically thinking, you can't just transform like this. Like, for example, if I just relate to my life, I have been wanting to wake up early morning for like eons. Like, I have always think, even if I go back early, like go early to sleep, I still can't do it. It's like a habit that I want to inculcate, but I still can't. And I am not a very indisciplined person. I'm pretty disciplined in my lifestyle and all, but this is something that I cannot make it happen. So that way I know that yes, it takes a gradual change within the human mind to actually make a shift in your life. That I can understand from that logical
You
perspective.
know,
And yeah, so yes, very logically speaking, you can say yeah, it was quick,
yeah,
but I think narrative point of view, I was like, yeah, fine, chalega, because I'm enjoying it so much.
no, I mean, see, it's even more evident because of the fact that the the gradual process from him going into that sort of a zone with his drunk friends was very gradual, right? After the
Mhm.
breakup with Darshana, and then him getting into bad company and all this kind of shit. So if the process of him getting into that was gradual, then
Hmm.
as a viewer, I would have expected a bit more organic coming out of it.
I think the talk with his father when he goes back for the break, and then the father and son they have a talk before he's about to board the train, where father says, "Okay, you know what? It's okay, don't lie to me, but I think you should leave alcohol." Maybe you don't know, sometimes something even like a stranger says impacts you a lot if said at the right time. So my takeaway from that scene is that, okay, you know what, they probably as father son never had that heart to heart moment, and it was a very honest raw moment that his father was talking to him, and then they hug each other. So probably it's impactful, that scene is impactful, at least it impacted me. So I want to believe that yes, that really really made Arun take a step back and think, and then he's like, no, I
Mhm.
can't do this anymore. So I would probably want to see it from that perspective.
Okay. Let's take a question. Sarat says, "How was your experience with Kalesh Selva? No
Yes,
presented."
superb. I loved it. He was amazing, such a sport. The entire interaction went for almost 1.5 hours. Like me, Nona, and Manoj, we were there, three of us. We didn't even realize. And he's a very talkative person. Wow. And he was so enthusiastic to talk about the film, to talk about his character. So overall, a fantastic experience.
And if we are talking about him, let's talk about his character also. So apart from the protagonist, even the side characters were so good. Like his friend, I'm forgetting the name. Who was the friend who he meets in the in the train in the first scene?
Yeah, his character name is Anthony. The actor
And
name is Ashwat Lal. Actor name is Ashwat
yeah,
Lal. Yeah, yeah, he was amazing. His comic timing was fantastic. I laughed at so many of his scenes.
he left a mark, and then of course Selva. Uh, and I really felt warm-hearted, at the end when he names his child Selva. So
One of my favorite scenes. One of my favorite scenes in the film.
that was such a sweet
This really
gesture.
puts a closure to the entire thing of like his friendship track with Selva. And at that point of time that yes, he really valued that little time that he could have with him. And this was like sort of, honoring his friendship with him. You can say that. Like how much impact Selva had on his life. So it was in a way to honor it. So yeah, his character impacted me overall a lot, a lot.
Yeah, and it was so lovely to see that first of all they created that whole 2006 to 2010 sort of era where we both have grown up being 90s kids, so we could relate to the fact that the smartphones were not as smart as they are today, right?
Correct.
uh, the
Correct.
Nokia phones and all, and uh, so and if I'm not wrong, you were in the college from 6 to 10, so
Yes,
that was
that's the exact time of my engineering also. So I was, imagine my smile when I'm watching the film in the theater and they're like showing the entire exact timeline and the Nokia phones. In college, people who used to own the Nokia N series, oh, they were the elites. Like, तुम्हारे पास N series hai. I mean, you are very very rich to own an N series phone. People used to show off their N series.
But I was in school in that period, and speaking of N series, Engage was that gaming phone which was so popular. So Alfia has a question: how you felt about the character Maya? So that's a good question because she has the most amount of character development throughout the film. Because it starts off as a rebound sort of thing, and then for me, okay, it reminded me of another problem that I had with the film. So just after the father's death, you know, when he's leaving and he comes back, and suddenly, I mean, she asked that sort of a question: "Did you love me? The amount of love you had for
That's
Darshana?"
my favorite scene, and I'll tell you why, but you finish yours.
I mean, there is a time and place for everything, right? Your father has died the same day. You were just crying about the fact that he was wearing this shirt this morning, and suddenly this change in the behavior, or the change in the mood, that you ask such kind of a question to him. So for me it was sudden. I don't know how you felt about
Okay. No, for me also it was sudden because at that point of time, I started realizing because initially that Arun never used to pay attention to Maya and she was with him through thick and thin and she understood that this guy is very pretty much distant, knowing the fact that he used to date Darshana and how intense their relationship was. And at that point of time, I think because that's one of my favorite scenes because everything is done, Arun has spent the entire day with Maya and then he's about to leave. He leaves and Maya comes in the balcony, she starts crying and because he's leaving, he sees her and he stops the bike and he rushes. I thought it was such a beautiful moment. He goes, and then I would, I was honestly thinking, okay, this is nice, all beautiful. The relationship is growing, it's maturing. I would love to see where this goes because I know that Kalyani's character is going to be a part of his life because she's the another major supporting character. So I was like, where is this going? Because Maya seems to be like a nice influence on this guy. And then suddenly she pushes it. The breakup scene, I was not expecting it. Maybe Maya. So see, these are all my imaginations. So I think maybe Maya realizes that Arun cares for him, because that's a big gesture when you know, you are leaving and then you see the person crying, you come back. So I think support wise, Maya knew that this guy will support me, he's a good guy, but he will really never love me that way, the way he loved Darshana. So I think that was the, you know, that was her most lowest moment. And the fact that she breaks up with him at that moment, I think Maya as a character is very strong, because she lets go of her father finally. All the antim sanskar and all everything is done, and then she lets go of the one person who was standing with her, and she's like, just go, because if at this moment you be with me, and then eventually, because I know you don't love me the way Darshana loved, you loved Darshana, so I think letting go of you after would be much more difficult. So this is, I think, the best moment to. I'm at my lowest point. Just go. If I can deal with this now, it'll be fine. Later, everything will be fine. That's how I see it. So I think it was one of my standout scenes for me that I still remember, because I was not expecting that she will break up with him at that point.
Hmm. Fair enough. There is another one which says, Ashmita, you are on the way to 100K. Best wishes in advance.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and then Adi says, Pranav is a person whom you're never going to get for an interview because he's a person who never gives interviews. He's such a simple person without any stardom. Okay. Glenn says, watch Tattatin Mariyadu and Tira, career best movies of Vinny Sri. Have you seen them?
Tira, I have heard a lot of Tira,
Okay.
which is like a very, because Vinay Srinivasan also gives you these feel good films, and I think Tira is a complete opposite of what exactly he is known for. So it's on my watch list. The next one, though, I want to watch a classic film, so that's why I'm not watching the older films. Like Tira is also an old film, but still you would say newer compared to the other. But I want to watch a classic like 80s movie first.
So,
Uh,
38 people who are watching us right now, tell us in the comments whether you like Tira more or you liked Hridayam more. Which one do you think is a better film by the director? Before we go to the next comment, another thing which I really want to point out here is, you know, how much they've aged throughout the film, right? From joining a college which should be roughly 17, 18 to becoming a father,
Mhm.
so into
Mhm.
30s, right? So in that 12 to 15 years of time, there's not much change in their
Yeah,
facial sort of uh,
correct.
uh, the look and the makeup, because you when he is in the mountains, living that sort of life, he, only his beard is more, but the hairstyle and everything is similar.
Correct.
And when he meets Darshana after so many years, she is also almost the same as she looked in the college. So that way, you think they should have probably done a bit more research around that, or spent a
Yeah,
little more.
I think that I agree. I agree with you on that. That the transition shown like from 18 to 30 plus whatever. If you just go makeup wise or the look, probably you don't see a really major difference. Like if I just play a scene from first half and I then go play a scene where Pranav is there with Kalyani, won't be much difference in Pranav's looks. That I agree. I do agree that there was a mismatch over there. They could have done polished that thing a much more in a nice way,
Everyone,
and it would have looked even more authentic.
not just Pranav. I mean, even Darshana, even
Darshana,
Anthony,
even her
even
friends,
he
if you
looked.
see.
Even
Correct.
the musician Pratik Tiwari, he also looked almost the same.
Almost the
By
same
the way,
kind of friends.
interesting name. They just patched a Pratik Kuwad and Ankur Tiwari together and created a Pratik Tiwari. So that was my that's how I thought about it. And okay, another thing which I just thought of was the biggest disappointment in the film. Now, this one I'm telling you,
Okay.
that Sardar and the turban looks so fake. That
Oh,
turban,
I should have been for this one. I swear.
I
I
mean,
don't know if you watched Nona's review. Did you?
I did. He also pointed it out.
It was off. I mean, even I would agree that the way the turban is tied, it looked off. But I thought, okay, maybe yeah, they could have asked some. They could have asked Nona only that how to do
You know,
it. It's
it's
okay.
one thing. It's one thing to have a Punjabi character or even a Punjabi song. They had a Punjabi song, that Bulliya song.
Yeah,
That's still okay in a Malayalam film because even that Punjabi wasn't authentic. I mean, I am a Punjabi too, and I can
yeah.
tell you that
So that's a
Bulliya.
poem actually. Actually a poem converted into a song. It's by a poet called Bulle Shah.
No, I know,
So
but
yeah.
the way it was sung,
Hmm.
the Punjabi wasn't really authentic. And then that Sardar character, okay, you can, if you don't have the budget to cast a Sardar, so even if you're casting somebody with a beard, at least get the turban right, you know?
Correct. Yeah,
So
it potentially could hurt the sentiments.
yeah,
That's true. That's true.
it's
I
not
agree
even
with
about sentiments. It's about after seeing so much of Malayalam cinema, where the standards are so high, this kind of a little bit of shortcoming you don't expect, you know.
that.
That's
I can agree with
yeah,
you on that for sure.
yeah.
That was a slip up. And Nona specifically pointed it out. I really didn't point out in my review because I was like, okay, I mean, not really significant for me at this point because I want to discuss about the film. But yes, for someone like Nona, definitely it like sticks out like a sore thumb over there. So I'm glad he pointed it out. I'm actually glad that he pointed it out in his review.
No, anyone would have at least noticed it, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, even I noticed it.
no, I'm not even talking about people like us who review stuff. Even any one of these people would have also felt that something is off about that character.
Right.
That's not the way we see turbans in and around our societies. Okay, let's take the next one. In the climax scene, Arun asks Nitya to untie her hair. What is your perspective about that scene?
Wow. There, I see one thing for sure that I understood from Darshana's perspective is that she's not over Arun. It's like she just decides to move on, get married, and just hope for the best. And I think Darshana has such a big impact in Arun's life because like he went through a complete spiral. Out of all the three characters, I think Darshana was the one who impacted him the most. That's what I take away from the film and the way Arun reacts to every relationship, basically. So that thing, maybe see one thing could be that he likes women with open hair. That because tells this to Darshana also. But another thing, if you really, really want to dissect it, it's probably a part of him. Uh, and I think a part of him will always be in love with Darshana. But then he also sees that, that dialogue when Darshana and Arun meet. And he says that when I wake up and I see, my son, one day I woke up and I saw my son and my wife, I understood the purpose of my living. So he has accepted his life. He's at peace with it. But I think that's still a little piece of his heart, his Hridayam, is latched onto Darshana's memory. And probably if you really want to decode it from that perspective, when he says that please, you should untie your hair, I think it's a spillover from his first serious relationship. That way. Or the most simple explanation is that he likes women because there are a lot of men who love women with open hair. So, yeah. So that's the simple explanation.
Shah Rukh Khan in Mehuna. This one is interesting. With Pranav, they initially planned to give him short hair and a different look initially, but after shooting first half, they didn't really want to change the looks for second half. I mean, come on, don't give me that reason. Even if they shot the first half, why couldn't they have short hair in the second half? I mean, or just remove the beard.
I
Something
don't
should
know.
have.
I feel that I don't know how because I feel that it has to do with they wanted to minimize the continuity errors. That's what I feel. That because the movie has been made with a lot of that's what when we had this conversation with Kalesh also, uh, that he said that the movie was it's not like they shot it in a stretch. There was a lot of back and forth going. Like there was one very interesting thing that he said that the initial release was in 2020, that was the plan. But then, because of COVID and all of that, it got delayed. And the initial lineup of the songs, the movie has like 15 songs. So the songs were also not that many. But as Vineet got time to think about it, think over it, he could make changes, add a couple of more songs, because he sat down with the music director and really thought about how he could put, other songs and push the narrative forward. So initially from 2020 till the date of its release, there has been a lot of changes. So I think maybe it made sense that, yeah, to just minimize all of this continuity error. Because honestly, then again, if that was the case where they changed his hairstyle and stuff like that, and if there is one mistake, it would have stuck out completely to the audience, and that would have been definitely been picked up by people like you and me, uh, in the review, and we would have said that, okay, you know what, this is where they made the error. So yeah, I think logically, to
Uh,
keep
uh,
it simple, it makes sense.
we aren't saying it's the most perfect or the most extraordinary film. There are flaws in the film, but
Mm.
the probably the good points are sort of overweighing the little
Yes,
bit of
of
flaws.
course.
That's the right way to put it. Uh, so this is a question which yesterday came on the community post as well. Do you think Hridayam Bollywood will be remade, and if so, who would you like to see in the characters
It's
in
very
Bollywood?
likely. It's very likely. I'm actually, waiting for the Ayappanam Koshiyam Hindi release. I really want to see how they make that film, honestly. So I will not be surprised if this movie is adapted in Hindi. And if so, then it's difficult. I don't know, man. I can't. I
Let's
mean, there's
you
so many actors who can play this role, honestly. Because
and,
romance is something that I think actors are really good at. And
and we saw something vaguely similar in Chichore, where they all go to the college and then they grow up.
right,
So we have seen such kind. Three Idiots was one such incident where they have
right,
shown some kind of a transition period.
correct.
Okay, this is another one. Ashmita, what is your opinion on Selva and Anthony, his best friend's character?
I love both the characters. I love both the characters. Where I think Anthony added a lot of spontaneity to Arun's life as a character, uh, and a lot of joy and charm. Because Anthony is such a, I mean, he's such a fun to. I would love a friend like Anthony who's just hyping me up and doing crazy stuff. It'll be fun to have a friend like that, because I don't. And Selva, oh, I just loved his character so much, because there have been people in my life, like friends, who have really influenced me. So when I saw Selva, I remembered those friends, and I said, you know what? Yes, those friends are my Selvas. Of course, they didn't meet that tragic fate, thank God, touch wood. But yes, so I think everybody should have a friend like Anthony and Selva for sure. Do you have someone like these two?
Uh, that's a difficult one. You put me in the spot right there. I'll have to think. I don't have much friends, but then again, in an intimate circle, to relate somebody to this kind of eccentric character, and then someone like Selva, who is this life changing sort of, because he changed his life in a way. So
Correct.
very rare
Absolutely.
once in your lifetime you will have such kind of a friend figure who will that have that influence in your life. So I think I'll have to pass on that one as yet.
I
Uh,
hope you get a friend like that.
yeah, everyone should have a friend like that who could inspire you to become a better person. I think you should watch Mallu Singh, then you'll be satisfied with Turban. Okay, so I think this is a sarcastic comment, and the turbans are even worse in that one, I'm guessing. Maybe you should Maya should be given more praise, like the way she reacted. She knew that he doesn't love him, but didn't make any fuss about that. She cried, kissed him, and let it go. Yeah, I think we all already did discuss about that scene in detail. When called Darshana when Nitya gave birth, did you all think Nitya died like I did? Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. I thought, okay, maybe the child has not died, Nitya has died, and now the film will go towards Darshana and this guy will raise the child together and they'll come back.
Oh,
Thank you, Noel. I did feel so.
awesome.
Did you?
I I don't know. I thought something happened to the child. I honestly thought something happened to the child. And like he couldn't really talk to Nitya about it because she already would be so freaking sad. And then that's why he called Darshan. I seriously thought something happened to the child, and I was like, "Oh my god, no, no, please don't go that way." I was like, "Chalo, theek hai, thank God."
Look at the difference in how we both have interpreted कि अब क्या होने वाला है. I was thinking a completely different tangent and you were thinking
Correct.
okay. Yes, actually, Selva, yes, Vinita, we agree with that. He was a turning point. And Arun and Darshana or Arun and Nitya? That's an interesting question.
Very interesting. Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, it'll be easy to pick if both the females met Arun at same point of like Arun's at a same point of time, like college or you know after college. But I don't know because Arun's thinking is so different when he's meeting Nitya and when he's meeting Darshana. So, okay, personally, if I have to really personally pick, I would go with Nitya and Arun.
Okay. Uh, I
I think
mean,
I'm more into the. I think I'm more into the stable. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm already married, so I think that is the relationship that I want to see blossom. That's why.
and the good thing is Nitya was very understanding. Just the beginning, there was a bit of jealousy when they go to her house and she comes all dressed up again, like the college days. But after that, when he actually, and I really loved that point when he first says some friends are partying and I have to go out, and then
Comes
his
back.
conscience doesn't allow him to lie, because once in his life he lied once, and that really had bad consequences. So he thought, okay, I can't do that again, my conscience won't allow. Comes back, confesses what actually is happening, and she's so understanding. She's so kind and sweet about
Like,
the fact that yeah, and you won't find a lot of women like that in real life these days. I mean, who would allow somebody to go to meet the ex at that hour suddenly?
yeah, correct.
So
She
that
was
was
really
really
sure
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Okay. Did anyone guess that Arun will name his baby Selva?
I was hoping that he names it Selva. I was hoping.
Noel says I thought Arun might name his son Darshan.
That was also a possibility. I don't think Nitya would have allowed it.
I mean, if they would have had a boy, sorry, a girl instead of a boy, then probably they could have named it Darshana. If not,
I
Selva.
still don't think Nitya would have allowed it.
Yeah. Uh, okay, let's take this last question now. What did you think of the scene where Arun says doesn't have a girlfriend? Honestly, I felt this was such a relatable scene because
Relatable. That was the
yeah,
word I was about to
yes,
say.
I
Relatable.
have I have been in that situation, and I'm sure so many people, especially guys, would have been in that situation where they see a very good-looking girl and suddenly the eyes kind of go wide-eyed and everything. You forget everything for a second there. So I could
Correct.
relate to it, and it's relatable because it happens in the society. That's why
Yeah, that's what it, and it's because you said guys would do it. I would say in the opposite gender also it happens. I honestly because I have seen people in my known circle, you
yeah.
know, contemplate. So I was like, yeah, oh, quite relatable. I mean, he loves Darshana so much, but yet he said no. Wow.
And
I
I
was
think
like, so,
it also has to do with the fact that he was still a teenager. It was still first year, second year. So at that time you are not mature enough. So your understanding of love, the concept of love, is still blossoming. So I
correct.
can't blame him completely as well. Although it was wrong on his part, and I'm sure if I'm sure if those protests weren't happening there, they probably would have ended up kissing also. But uh, yeah, okay. Would you want to take this one?
I think I'm one of them who didn't find the best in Hridayam, comparing it to other Vinit Srinivasan films. Another average movie lack in performance and rhythm. Only takeaway for me is the college day. Interesting because see, I have only this is my second Vinit Srinivasan film. The first one was Jacobinte Swargarajam, and for me, so that is a movie which is extremely relatable to Malayalis. And I said it in my review that it looks too good to be true, even though it's like inspired from a true story, from I think a story from Vinit's friend circle only. But
Yeah.
there were certain things in the film where I was just not able to connect with the film that way. But I liked the film; it was overall enjoyable. And I think if I had watched Jacob Inte at the time of its release, I would have probably enjoyed it a lot more. But I think after years, for me, I don't think the film aged well, and I don't think it's a universal film, but it's an enjoyable film. Like, it's a nice weekend watch. It's a very feel good film, and you can see that how a person struggles and how how family support can bring the person out of that struggle. So I think that way it's a really nice film. But I think Hridayam had more universal beats for me. So I can only compare Vinit's work with Jacobinte and Hridayam. And between the two, for me, Hridayam is much more superior. Now, I don't know because I've heard a lot about Tira. So I probably, if I watch Tira, I'll be like, hello, maybe this is like the best film of Vineet. I don't know, probably. We'll see.
How was the Hindi song? Says Arjun. Uh, I mean, I I
Yeah,
I
you
I,
take
I
this.
I'll
You
tell
are a
my views.
musician.
Yeah, but I'll tell my views as a musician later. What did you feel as a music listener or somebody who reacts to songs so often on the YouTube channel? What did you think of the Hindi song?
I enjoyed it. It's not the best song of the album. I actually did not expect it to have that Hindi song. And now I understand after watching the film why it is added, because it's sung by, the Mr. Tiwari over there. So that way I understood that, yeah, they had to include one Hindi song because he's the musician. I like the song. It had a good melody, though not the best song from the album. There are other songs which are way superior in this album. My favorite being Nagumo, which is a reprise of another classic song, but that's my favorite from the album.
See, as a musician, what I felt, uh, the background score is pretty good.
Hmm.
Because in films like this, in out and out romantic films like these, it's very important to have the right kind of score at the right places, and it's
Hmm.
even more important to
Correct.
have silence at the right time, because sometimes, in these kind of films, just to spoon feed the audience, you overdo the music as well. So thankfully that was not done. And
Okay.
songs, for me, the songs were one too many. Probably one or two songs could have been avoided, but since it's a romantic musical, one could understand. And the length of the film is also such that you have to have songs to take the narrative forward.
Hmm.
So that way, so I think, let me just also tell people who are coming from Ashmita's channel that I am not an out and out movie reviewer like she is. I am a musician first. I am a music.
I am
Uh,
also not.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. uh, I'm talking about myself. I'm not anywhere near how full time you devote your time towards this, right? So that way, so guys, if you are interested in music or a musician telling the telling his views on films and stuff, so you can subscribe to all things cinema. Uh, that's
Please
a,
do.
that's not so subtle plug over there. But okay, did you notice Vineet named three girls' name? What is that? I didn't
The
understand that.
names of this comment, I think it our interview with Kalesh also that happened. So it was very interesting. This is something I did not notice, but it's a very good observation. The heroine name, the female protagonist names are like Darshana, Maya, and Nitya. So every phase, it has like Nitya means like more permanent or something like that, and Darshana means Maya is like illusion. So that
Yeah.
relationship was more like an illusion. So it's every the name of the female protagonist is also how the relationship was. So that
Hmm.
was very interesting. So
Wow,
that
that is,
the
yeah,
audience made actually.
that is actually a good one. Thank you for the trivia. Yes, Darshana means sight, Maya means magic, Nitya means constant.
Constant, yeah.
Thank you. That's a good one.
That was amazing because when I first read this in my comment section after the review, I was like, whoa, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is some foreshadowing. I think Blue White, and which was his male
Yeah.
uh, father's name, Neela Neela Neelakandan, was a comedy which you might not have understood. Okay, yeah, I mean some Mallu references we might not get as you would get.
Yeah, I think there was a movie reference also which I did not get because I could see the. I think I was the only non-Malayali in the theater because there were certain places where they were laughing and I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I did not get this joke. That's what happens when you rely on the subtitles.
yeah. Arvind says lots of scenes are avoidable. One is where Arun meets Darshana at her sister's marriage, made only for meeting his camp partner. What's your take on this? Yes, lots of scene. I mean, this one and that guy. I'm forgetting his name, but it's forgettable because that character was not really needed. That musician guy, the womanizer guy. So even that was avoidable because the length is such. Somehow you sit through it because of good visuals or because of good performances by the lead characters, because of good music. But then again, in today's time and age, a movie around 2 hours 50 minutes, it's a little too much for me to take. Uh, uh, so, did you also have a complaint like this sitting in theater? Because I think watching it at
No,
home on
me,
OTT
it did
is
not,
a,
honestly. I
yeah,
honestly did not. They now if I because I that's why I want to watch it in like on my laptop again. And so at least now probably because I watched it first season, I was just experiencing the film. Honestly, when I was watching it, I was really invested in the character and I was invested in Arun's journey. So I think my logical thinking was like I kept it at the back foot. And I was like, even if I'm noticing something which is a little off, I'm like, okay, let me just see where the story goes. So I think narrative wise for me, it was really a smooth ride, I would say. Like I was not out of the film because the moment I am like my concentration is here and there, I know that something is wrong. Like the movie is not able to really grab my attention. And then that is where I see, okay, this is wrong with the film. Okay, this is a little off. This angle could have been better. So, but when I'm completely invested in the characters, I think a lot of times when in the second watch, then I notice that okay, yeah, this could have been done better. Okay, this could have been avoided. So that's why I want to watch it again the second time because right now I am completely reeling on my first experience. Like it's
yeah.
all beautiful in my head right now. So I think once I watch the second time, maybe there would be some added perspectives.
And
Let's see.
I think one difference is why you were okay sitting in theaters for that amount of time is when you go to theaters, your mindset is completely different. You are going there for the movie watching experience,
Right.
theatrical experience. So there, actually, you prefer for a longer movie. Just for that whole experience in the dark and the big screen and the great sound. But
Right.
at home, in your comfort, on OTT, when you have to sit for over 3 hours, sometimes in such a long movie you can't devote all those 3 hours completely because there
I
you'll get
agree.
calls, your doorbell might ring, you will have something to eat. So that whole experience sometimes get a bit stopped in between because of those factors.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you do revisit second time on OTT at home, let me know how you felt different about it.
Correct. Absolutely.
So guys, we are about to end this now. It's been like what 48 minutes now. Uh, let's take just last couple of comments. Um, Normally in college movies, breaking rules, drinking, etc. is shown as enjoying college life, but in Hridayam shows that studying has also its own benefits. Your views on that?
So I'll take this one. I because I've lived in campus and stuff, and I actually studied in Manipal. Manipal Institute of Technology, and going by the standards of strictness, Manipal is pretty lenient. We didn't have, at least in girls hostel, like it was a big deal when I used to tell my friends. A couple of my friends were in Vellore, a VIT, and their cutoff time was, I think, 7:38 at that point of time. Like 8 o'clock, you have to be inside the hostel. For us, it was 11 o'clock. That's a huge thing. Like we could really roam around outside, the campus 10:30, 11 o'clock. So, and Manipal as a campus, you are really free. Like there's a lot of freedom. I don't know, because for me that is the standard. But I hear with so many friends of mine that, yo, you are in Manipal. Oh, that's another experience, because we don't get so much freedom in our campus. So there is everything, the good side, where it's shown like in the movie that drinking has its bad side. We had study groups also. Like I was also part of a study group, but I was also part of a cultural group where I used to go for dance practice and stuff like that. And I used to do, like, I was in a bhangra group, just letting you know. So I used to do bhangra. And then there was a group of mine which was like a complete party group. So you get a taste of everything there, and then it becomes your own choice. It really becomes your own choice which direction you want to go, because there you would find, like, I have seen students who have been just, like, they have just gone downhill. They've just
Mm.
gone downhill in their 4 years in the campus. But I've seen students who were just average, and with dedication they have really made great life. Like, when I see them on posting on Facebook and stuff, and I see their lives now, I'm like, okay, I did not expect this guy to do so well in life. And the guy who was like all hero in college, you just, he's just, yeah, he's not doing anything great. So I've seen those cases. So I think relatability, that's why I said in my review also that the first half of the film, I think I was living my own college life. I think I was living my own college life. So that flip shown, I'm really happy that it was shown like that. That yes, it's not just ha ha ha, he, singing and dancing in college and all is fun. No, you have to study also. And I really like the fact that they really gave emphasis on that study part. So that was nice.
Yeah, and just I'll add my 2 cents to it. See, I read a quote somewhere 4 or 5 years ago, which has really helped me out. I've followed it all my life, and it kind of applies here as well. So it says, decision making becomes easier if you know what your values are. So, at a critical point in life, the college days, uh, of course you will have all these choices to make, but that decision making will depend on the kind of values you have, the way you have been brought up in your upbringing in the family. So I think to each his own. It's
Right.
I'm not saying that somebody who drinks is a bad person per se, but it's all about how you see things in a perspective.
Yeah.
By the way,
Anything
Nona,
less is bad. Anything. Oh, Nona is here. Hey.
guys, by the way, with Nona also, I have planned this live stream on Hridayam on 24th. I think we decided. So a couple of days later, we'll be doing, and I'll definitely be interested in knowing his views on the fake turban and the fake sardar. So
Do
let's
you know Vineet Srinivasan watched Nona's review, and he specifically, yeah, he watched Nona's review, and he specifically told, at least when we were talking to Kalesh, that he specifically told him that, I saw his review, and he pointed out that, yeah, the turban thing was, off, and it was incorrect. So Vineet actually took a notice of that. So I was really happy to know that yes, the director knows.
wow. नोना की आवाज दूर दूर तक जहां हमारी नहीं पहुंचती वहां इनकी पहुंचती है. you know well done, Nona Prince. क्या बात है यार. And okay, so I think we have touched upon most of the things from the film.
Yes.
Anything you thought we have probably missed, if you want to add up, any particular scene or something anecdote from the film that you thought we probably didn't talk about, which was there?
Uh, I think I just want to just say that there are a lot of scenes which I love in the film, But my favorite scene in the film definitely is when Arun names his kid Selva. I think that really touched my heart, and it sort of made me very emotional. So that is definitely my favorite scene, and my biggest takeaway from that particular scene was that yes, there are friends that impact your life like that. Just from personal experience, I'm talking.
Yeah, yeah. And my favorite scene was when he lies to what's the wife's name? Anitya. When he lies to her, goes outside
Mhm. Very
and
beautiful scene.
feels the guilt, feels that his conscience is not really allowing him to lie, comes back and says the truth because he has learned that hard lesson from so many years ago. So that was my favorite scene.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, so thank you guys for joining us in this amazing, almost an hour long live stream. I forgot I had to post something. Uh, my next song is coming. So today I thought, okay, it's the date is a palindrome, right? 22 to 222. So I thought I'll announce the next song at 22:22 p.m. But
Oh
I
no.
lost the track of time, and but yeah, so that next song is coming, and I'm sure Ashmita, you are going to love it because it is
I'll
called
react to it. I will react to Keshav's song and
and
give my own thoughts on his dancing.
that song is called Haste Haste, and
Oh,
who better than you about that contagious smile to react on it. So yeah, so guys, please go check out Ashmita's channel. If in case कोई इक्का दुक्का मेरे चैनल से आया है जो इनको शायद अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया हो, तो they can go and check her out. She's
मेरे चैनल से आया
almost
तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब करो इसके चैनल को.
yes. She is about to get to 1 lakh subscribers, which is brilliant. Congrats in advance. Somebody also did that, and the next month I think it calls for a proper vlog. With some cake cutting and all. So Abhijit says something. Ashmita Chechi, love you.
Thank
Uh,
you, Abhijit Cheta. I hope that was correctly pronounced.
Janeman releases on OTT on 25th. Janeman actually has
Oh,
my
I
friend.
remember when the trailer released, everybody was like, why? Like, when the movie released, everybody was like, why? I think I missed out on the trailer. I have not watched the trailer yet because I'm like, up to मैं directly film देखूंगी because everybody in the comment section was Janeman is such a good film. So yes, eagerly waiting for the release
Yeah,
then.
and one of my very good friends, Darth Menon, is acting in it. So you should check it out. He's my neighbor also. He lives very nearby. So
Hmm.
guys, if you like Siddharth Menon, I did an interview with him in December when he visited me. So check it out. He talked about Janeman as well. Nona Prince says, "Great one, guys." Nona, I'm sure you didn't watch the full thing, but thank you for the comment. You just joined, and we have been on for an hour. And looking forward with the for the session with you. Thank you once again, guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out my other channel. You can find it in the channel tab on my YouTube thing where I make original music, and one of the original songs is coming later this month, to which I'm sure Ashmita, once she reacts to it, you guys will any which way get the link. So once again, thank you. Really grateful to you, Ashmita, for taking out time once again and being so supportive with the channel. So I'll probably see you very soon once again, and good wishes for your 100K as well, coming very
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you.